Alright, welcome to what we're calling Interjected Minicast. Holy shit, Xbox's total 180.
Yep, they have come out and totally turned back on pretty much every negative feature that the gaming community would have, considered to be bad. Region locking, what was the DRM?
Yeah, all of the features, the 24-hour check-in system to check that you're following the rules, that's gone. Having to compulsory install your games and not being able to trade them in or sell them, that's gone. Region locking the system, so not being able to play the system in Poland, that's gone. The Xbox One is now officially the Xbox 180, in my opinion.
Yep, that's it. That's what a lot of people in the community are referring to it. And it would have... If you had have asked me a week ago if this was going to happen eventually, I would have said absolutely. But as soon as as soon as PS4 and Xbox One put their consoles up for pre-order, I think... how long did it take? It's just been a week.
Yeah, well, the numbers don't lie. I think they said something like the Xbox is sitting at around 20% of their original forecast. It's nothing compared to the pre-orders for the PS4, and that's the primary reason why they changed. Everyone rebuffed. There was Twitter tirades going on. There was forum posts. There was podcasts. You and I did a podcast about this.
Absolutely.
And all of that stuff culminated together, and plus the pre-order numbers. Microsoft couldn't turn a blind eye anymore. They had to do something about it.
Yeah, I think what you said in one of our previous podcasts is absolutely correct. Console gamers aren't, or will never be, ready for that kind of hardcore DRM and online checking.
Yeah, I think what I said is that they're not ready. In one generation's time, I think it'll be fine. To have an always-on system and for them to travel off into the future as Microsoft's plan was. But I think when they first announced the system was an online system, or when the rumors first leaked, everyone's going, oh shit, nobody's going to buy an Xbox. But then they came out and said, oh, it's only a 1 in 24-hour check-in. I think if they'd stuck to their guns and said, no, it is always online, it wouldn't have been as bad as it was. The reason I say this is because when they came out and said, oh no, it's only a once in 24-hour check-in, everyone's like, well, if it's a once in 24-hour check-in, it's not transmitting any crucial data that is required for the system to run.
Exactly.
So why have it at all? It is just DRM at this point.
Yeah, because it's just there to be like, you online? Good. Alright.
Yeah, you do still require an Xbox activation when you first turn on the system, and then that's it. You no longer have to have it online anymore after that point if you don't want to.
Yeah, and again, the thing that I was taken aback by was when they were asked, what about people who can't get internet connections? They're like, well, we have a console for those people. It's called the Xbox 360. And I was still just like, that was...
And that was what Don Matrix said to the guy that was saying if he was in the army and what, isn't it?
Yeah, that's it. And it's like, are you really going to treat your fans like that? Because I think if they had stuck to their guns with all of the old specs, all they would have would be the die-hard Xbox fans who have to have their Halo games. But I think the relationship they would have with that console would be not healthy. It would be a case of, I want my Xbox so I can play the new Microsoft games.
Yeah, look, because you can't treat your entire player base and your entire purchasing community like criminals. You can't punish them because they will just not buy your system then. And that's what was shown in the pre-orders. It's very evident that was happening. Yeah,
there was even at that point in time it would have been, well, I think there's going to be a lot of damage done. People who have put their pre-orders down for other consoles, whether it be Wii U or PS4, they're going to stick to that.
Yeah, exactly.
That's what's going to happen.
And I in myself, I was still 50-50 on whether or not to get one because of my relationship with Killer Instinct, but I wanted to boycott the system because I disagreed with their consumer policies, and I felt that it was one step away from being neo-Nazism. And that's pretty extreme to say, but
it's not far from the truth.
Exactly. They want to watch you all the time. They want to make sure everybody's following the rules. And I just want to buy a game and own that game. And the way the system was up until their 180 now, that's how it was. Like,
exactly.
I'll read out the statement from Don Matrick on the change. They said, word for word, "Since unveiling our plans for Xbox One, my team and I have heard directly from many of you, read your comments and listened to your feedback. I would like the opportunity today to thank you for your assistance in helping us to reshape the future of Xbox One. You told us how much you love the flexibility you have today with your games delivered on disc. The ability to lend, share, and resell those games at your discretion is of incredible importance to you. Also important to you is the freedom to play offline and for any length of time, anywhere in the world." So they're basically saying, for one thing, they're sort of misdirecting, and they're thanking us for our feedback, telling them what they were doing was fucking insane.
Yeah.
And they're
just like, I guess we gotta fix it now.
And they're finally acknowledging that these things, the ability to own, to lend, and to sell games that we have purchased legally, is a very important and valuable thing.
Exactly. And one thing that the fans need to realize is what they're doing. They shouldn't be celebrating this. They should just be going, well, it's about time. Because they shouldn't be praising them for something they should have been doing from the very beginning.
Exactly. There is a small caveat to this. Like, there were a couple of features that were as a result of Microsoft's policy to not be able to let you lend your games that were actually good features. Like the family account system, the idea that if you buy a game, anybody in your family, up to 10 family members, can play it anywhere in the world. So, say if I was to buy Halo 7, whatever that might be, slam it in my system, install it, and then I can call up my cousin and say, "Hey, I've just got this game, do you want to play it?" They can go and play it on their system because I own it. This is a feature that has been completely reverted as well. So, while it's great that we can all play and buy our games and sell them and whatnot, and that's the system we've always been used to, and it works. There were some positive things that are also being lost in the same sweep.
Yeah, but to that end, it's kind of one good thing lost for another great thing gained, because you lose that ability for any of your friends or family, inverted commas for friends, to play it from their console at home. But I mean, you've just gained the ability back to simply lend them a game, or take it over and say, "Hey, let's just play this."
Yeah, exactly. We're gaining far more than we're losing. Yeah. For anybody who's worried about that, the ability to own your games, to play your system offline, and for one thing, to know your system will never be entirely defunct. If Microsoft turns off their servers in 10 years, your Xbox will still work now.
Which was a long-off worry, but still a worry that would have been nagging in the back of people's minds as the years drew on.
Yeah, like, I have no qualms about it. I'm gonna buy one now.
Yeah, because you're gonna love you some delicious Killer Instinct.
Yeah, and whatever else on there I might want to play, like Project Spark and Titanfall. I'll probably have that on PC, but you know what I mean.
Yeah. Like, you aren't going to be held back by... Because you wanted that console, but at the same time you're like, I don't agree with your business structure for this particular system.
Yeah. And one thing related to all of this, a couple days ago, Nintendo sort of fired a shot at Microsoft as well. This was before the announcement happened that Microsoft was doing a 180. They said, well, our policy on used games is to make games that are good enough that nobody wants to trade them in. And you see that. You never see used copies of Smash Brothers or Mario Kart on the shelf at your local EB. They just don't go there.
Yeah, you look at the Nintendo used section, and then you look at everywhere else, mainly PS3 and Xbox, and trade-ins galore.
Yeah, like, everywhere you look, there's the old versions of Xbox, of Gears of War, the old versions of Halo, the old versions of Call of Duty. These are all the things that's like, oh, we don't want people taking money out of the developer because they're buying the used version. Whereas Nintendo's like, well, if the game's good enough, you're not going to want to trade in the game. I think Miyamoto or Iwata's statement directly is, when you're done with Smash Brothers and you go, alright, I'm finished with this game, but I don't want to trade it in because what if some mates come over? I might need this game again.
Exactly. And that's no truer... It's still as true today as it was, 10 years ago. Because, I mean, look at Smash Bros. Brawl.
Exactly.
And Mario Kart Wii. I picked that up for a little while ago to play online, albeit it was very frustrating because the online is annoying. But I could still do that instead of just being like, oh, it's gone.
Yeah, exactly. And, like, just as a personal thing, I don't trade in games at all anymore, period. I haven't for the last, I think, 5 or 10 years.
And I'm the same, except I will say that I did trade in Epic Mickey 1 because it was just terrible.
Yeah, I'll make exceptions for games that I play them and I go, this was crap, I actually want some of my money back for this. That's different. It's not a case of, oh, I need money to buy this new game. I'll go out and work for my money. I'll never just trade something in because I want something new. I'm going to keep my games. Even if I know I'm never going to play it again, it's like, it's always there, it's part of my collection. I may one day, in 10 years, go, I want to go through that again. Exactly,
and for me, this is a little less of a strong point, but I mean, with my old Sega games, I'll go back and be like, you know what I want to do? Rise from my Dwave.
Rise from your Dwave.
Like an awesome game, but yeah, you don't trade in. It's not worth it. What you get back is not worth the money. So to anyone who does trade in games and is listening, you stop that.
Yeah, like even just recently, I set up the Sega again and played like an hour-long session of Herzog Zwei. And how old is that game? Like 20 years?
It's pretty freaking old. I had that. Like that's the game I had when I was a kid, and that game is so far ahead of its time.
Yeah, and
And a modern day equivalent would be you can find in a game called No, not Robotech.
Let me just check. It is called Epic. Yeah, Epic. Yeah. So if you want to know what Herzog Zwei was about or what it was like, go download the PC game Mech. It's completely free to play, and it's sort of like a strategy game, but you only control your mech. And you can generate units, you pick them up, you move them around, flying around, shooting. It's like an aeroplane that turns into a running mech with swords and guns and stuff. It's really quite cool.
Yeah. So it's also can be found on Steam if you can't be asked going to the website.
Yeah, you can get it on Steam. It's free. I think there is a microtransaction system for like skins and stuff, but you don't need any of that. You can just play it. So yeah.
I guess that was our little our news flash for the Xbox 180.
Yeah, glory to the gamer, and I'm really quite happy that Xbox has done this, not necessarily just for the sake of, oh, now I could buy an Xbox, but also we need healthy competition in the games market. If Sony was to just charge on ahead and be the only system everybody bought, there wouldn't be healthy competition. Healthy competition breeds good games, so this is a very good thing for everyone involved.
Yeah. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's podcast, and we'll see you next time.
Take it easy.